Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Welcome to workshop season. To proceed with our workshop this evening, we would like to invite Evi Diana Research Officer of Sector for Biostatistics and Data Repository, National Institute of Health, NIH, to present the topic on basic statistics. We welcome her on stage.
Yes, Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon to. Okay. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to all of you. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for the for kind introduction from MC Tuan Husni Majlis. And then thank you so much for the organizing for the organizing committee, Trauma Registry and CRC for inviting me to deliver this session on the here in workshop A, which is basic statistics, and then a little bit of myself. I'm Evi Diana. I'm a research officer with a statistic background, working almost 16 years in Ministry of Health, KKM. I'm starting my first permanent job in KKM, as research officer until now. Actually, previously, my first posting is in IHM, Institute for Health Management. And then I moved to CRC for 4 years in CRC Hospital Serdang. And now I am here with a Sector for Biostatistics and Data Repository. Okay, I think it is not too late for me to wish all of you Selamat Hari Raya Aidil Adha. Okay. And welcome to NIH. This is your second day, right? Your second day to be here. So, ni semua orang luar ke the NIH? Also include NIH staff? Both? All, I assume luar, both lah? Both, okay. So I will deliver my lecture today for 30 minutes on basic statistics. Okay, well, actually basic statistics is a very, very broad to talk about. Maybe tak habis 1 tahun untuk kita bincangkan berkenaan dengan statistics, ya, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Tapi untuk session ni, saya harap 30 minutes ni dapat sedikit dapat memberi give the idea what is all about and what is the importance of the certain elements in statistics that will deliver you to come out with the good outcome of this session. Okay, let's begin our session now. Sorry, where should I go?
Oh, dia dekat atas ni.
Okay, so for this afternoon session, we have only three topics covered here, which is an overview of statistics, types of data, and statistical analysis. So basically, statistics is defined by Daniel, science that deals with collection, organizing, analysis, interpretation, and presentation of information that can be stated numerically. So, in other words, we can say that statistics is all a process that involve with data. Okay, so we have uh, we must follow a guideline, a guide, or rules that state a scientific rules to make the to working with data or to make the project or research project in manner way. Okay, so statistics, as stated here, the importance of statistics can be seen in the forecasting. So bila you all tengok the forecasting by weather forecast in apa berita hari-hari, that actually there is a statistic formula behind that to see whether today is raining or next day is raining, or the next month is raining or not. And then we can see that the statistic is applied in deliver the information of COVID-19, right? There's a successful of our note that we can that statistic can give us a guideline whether the number of COVID-19 is exceed beyond the important value or under the important value. And then in medical studies, we also can see that statistic helps a lot in giving the evidence of how the drug can be uh, prescribed, or how the drug can be effective, can be said to be effective to the some kind of disease. Okay, and then maybe in the you can see in the registry, so how the statistic can show us whether the disease is described in a proper way, to see that the disease is related to other factors maybe, and with that statistic we have enough evidence to say that the certain factor is related to the what we are studying. Okay, in the stock market also, another topic that you hear a lot about is the stock market. The apa kenaikan gula, kenaikan minyak semua kan. So that's behind that is a statistic. It's not just a simple way to come up with the kenaikan harga tu. Actually, there's a statistic behind that. And then in genetic study, so we can see a lot of outcome, or a lot of news that that use this statistical element to prove that this affected by a certain disease. Okay, the statistics the statistic is not also involved in the analysis, but it is actually involved from the beginning of study. So daripada study design to from the study design and into until the results and interpretation. So, but the most sorry, but the most part of statistical formula involved is in study design and statistical analysis. In study design, we can see that we must determine the sample size. We must determine the type of study that we might use in order to menjawab the research objective. Okay, so statistics is not only involved in the analysis part, but actually from the beginning of the study, because all the element of statistics must be determined earlier, and then it is related from the beginning to the end of the outcome of the results and interpretations. Okay. So how is statistics is help in study design? So the importance of statistics in study design is the statistics help in designing and planning studies that are effective in answering research questions. So previously mentioned, we must determine the sample size. So how sufficient is our sample size to be used in our study? So we must have the statistical formula to calculate the sample size, and then we must use the appropriate statistical method for the analysis. So the study designs, the statistics element must be determined in the study design. Then next, for the data collection, we must have a proper sampling technique to capture our data, to extract our data. Okay, we cannot simply take the subject. We cannot simply take the the respondents to be included in our study, because it might be a bias, right? It is not random. If not random, how we are going to do that? That statistic will take part in determining helping to make the selection non-biased and to make the research is valid and accurate. Okay. So in the data analysis, of course, the statistic provides you how you are going to analyze your data, whether you are going to use t-test, you are going to use several survival analysis, or some more analysis, regression, or some more. So, and then maybe for your study, it is not maybe for your study it is just only descriptive statistic is enough, or maybe you must infer your sample to the population by doing the statistical analysis. Okay, and then interpretation of result, we must choose the correct method to interpret and to present our result in a proper way. So let's say we have categorical data. So we cannot simply use a graphical presentation that are not suited for categorical data. So let's say we must use bar graph or pie chart for categorical instead of we display the line graph to that particular variables. Okay. So as a summary, the importance of statistics in research give you the guide, give you guide to produce you the valid result. Okay, to produce valid result and to come up with the more accurate outcome. Okay, so I go to type of data. So why I include type of data as one of the topic here is I want to address that we must know our data. We must know the characteristic of data because different type of data give you different type of analysis and different type of method that we are going to calculate sample size, and then we are going to determine what formula that we are going to use. So basically this is the most crucial part that you must know before you proceed with the other things. Okay. So dengan kata lain, it is like bahan masakan. It's like a bahan masakan in doing your statistical procedure or research. Okay. So data, I think semua orang tahu what is data, right? So data, semua orang tahu. Data is by definition dia adalah raw material, kita boleh kata dia adalah sebagai information. So all information we can translate it as data. Even kalau you pergi bersembang dengan security or the people out there pun is you get the information. That information can be translated to as a data. So data can be anything can be informed and can be used for information for certain kind of purpose. Okay, so it can be text, it can be numbers, it can be videos or sounds. So it can be in a variety of formats. Even my speech now is also a data. Okay, so it's also a data. So as I mentioned earlier, the data is the foundation of information, knowledge, and insights. So when data is processed, analyzed, and interpreted, it can be transformed into meaningful information that can be used to make decisions, solve problems, and gain insights. So data is essential to many fields, including science, business, healthcare, and social sciences, and is increasingly being used to drive innovation. Okay. So also knowing your data is a crucial thing. But before I introduce the data types, we go to the source of data first. So actually the data can be divided by two categories. This is primary and secondary data. Okay, for the primary source of data, so data that refers to first-hand collected. Okay, the first-hand collected. Primary, which means there's nobody else yang captured or ambil dulu. So the primary means this is new, fresh. Okay, the original. So the key word for the primary data is the original sources. So it is original that is gathered directly from the source through the various data collection such as surveys, interviews, experiments, observation, or focus groups. Okay. The primary data is typically collected to answer research questions. Okay, to answer research hypotheses, So let's say kalau you all nak buat research berkaitan dengan colorectal cancer. So data you must collect is regarding colorectal cancer. But whether it is primary or not, if I go to hospital and I collect myself the data, it is a primary. Okay, so the characteristic of primary data is it is collected specifically for the research project at hand, and therefore is tailored to the research question being asked. Okay, and then it is collected by the researcher who has control over the data collection methods and can ensure the data is collected in a consistent and standardized way. It is original and has not been previously collected or published. Okay, and then it can be, but the limitation is it is very time consuming because it may take longer time to collect by ourselves and then to fulfill the number that we are going to collect, right? Then it can provide detailed and in-depth information that is not available through secondary data sources. So even it is time consuming, but the advantage is it is a very in-depth information, okay, and we have a control of that, meaning that kalau kita nak data daripada kita nak data daripada age sampai dia punya clinical characteristic, which means kita ada 10 elements or 10 variables yang kita nak capture from the respondents, so we can control that. So we can, if we collect ourselves, we can control, which means we can make sure that all the data is collected. So this is primary. Okay, what is the secondary data? Secondary data refers to the data that has already been collected. It is not fresh. Okay, semacam kereta lah, first hand, second hand, macam tu. The secondary is the data that already been captured. Okay, and then maybe it has been collected for different purpose, but maybe we have different purpose from the original one. Okay, so but we using the resources from the primary, and then we want to use to another purpose or research project. Okay, secondary data can come from variety sources such as government agencies, academic institution, industry report, or published research study. So okay, secondary data di KKM, siapa tahu? Siapa boleh bagi contoh? Come on, you all kerja kat hospital kan? Dekat mana? Data record you all kan? Data record tu as a you all punya secondary actually. Okay, that is secondary data. So it is not you are collected. It is some other people collected. And then some more, if you want to do a research, EHIS, right? EHIS. Sometimes maybe another system called another name, e-hospital system, or total hospital system. But in KKM, we also have data repo actually. It is not, it can be directly from hospital. It can maybe from maybe a body or some agencies that has a data repo like PIK, Pusat Informatik Kesihatan. Pusat Informatik Kesihatan have a lot of data. Dia ada data kematian that related to the clinical punya data. So you all boleh request data to make a research project from there. Okay, we also in NIH, in sector biostatistics, we also have data repository. We also have data repository, which is data from all researchers in NIH. But currently, we only have NHMS, National Health Morbidity Survey. So actually, kita data repo kita dah beroperasi lebih kurang 4 tahun. So we have a system. We have system. You can try to tengok online lah. PIK have a system and data repo. Most of the data repo all have the system. So you can go through how to apply the data and then you can extract, minta permission. So minta permission to use the data and then you can extract for your project purpose or whatever it is. Okay. And then another agency, another kementerian also have very important data like DOSM, Department of Statistics Malaysia. So saya tengok dekat report registry banyak sebelum kita report the findings of the registries itself, but ada part yang we must report that like incidence rate that from the previous years. So kita ambil sources yang daripada DOSM, Department of Statistics Malaysia, and then Department of Statistics of Malaysia, dia dah ada dia punya distribution of age and distribution of current death and because of that disease. Okay, for your information, Department of Statistics Malaysia, DOSM, also collaborate with PIK to make the data repo lah. Okay, so DOSM and PIK dia ni untuk for ICD-10 especially for the cause of disease, cause of death. Sorry. Okay. So berbalik pada my slide. Okay, the secondary data too, it can be used to supplement or support primary data or as the sole source of data for a research project. And so, which means we can combine secondary and primary data. So let's say for primary data, we collect the disease of colorectal cancer. But in future, we want to mesh with for 10 years future, we want to mesh whether with the JPN data, Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara, to see the status of dia punya death or alive. Okay, so we can have both way. We have primary and secondary at one time. All right. So the characteristics of secondary data, it is collected by someone else for different purpose and may not be tailored to the research question being asked. Okay, so we must be careful whether the secondary data that we extracted is enough to answer our research question. Or maybe we must get another sources, or maybe we must collect also the primary data to menjawab kita punya research questions. Okay, and then it is often less expensive and time consuming. Dia punya kelebihan, if we use secondary data, it is less expensive and menjimatkan masa lah. And then there may be may or may be not use of memerlukan budget. Ada some data we must bayar. Sometimes DOSM ada bayar ya. DOSM pun ada juga yang kena bayar. Okay, some yang free. Okay, free with maybe with some certain rules or conditions lah. Okay. Tapi kita kena ingatlah the data yang memerlukan data yang sensitif, like kita perlukan IC untuk matching. So kalau memerlukan satu, dia maybe lama sikit untuk mendapatkan data tersebut sebab we must follow some certain regulatory punya proses lah, especially for nak dapatkan IC or dia punya nama respondents. Okay, it may provide a broader perspective than primary data since it can cover a larger population or time period. Okay, dia punya kelebihan ni, when you extract data from EHIS, from any database, data dia lagi banyak daripada kita ambil yang primary. Maybe for secondary we can take 10 years back, kan? Tapi untuk primary we have a limitation of budget, limitation of masa, so that we only can get 1 year. But for the secondary we can get more than 1 year maybe. But the secondary data can be subject to potential biases and errors such as selection bias or measurement error if the original data collection methods were flawed. Okay, sebab kita tak tahu apa yang berlaku semasa data collection for the original one. So for the secondary data, kita hanya dapat menerima seadanya data yang dah ada. Okay, so we cannot control. So we cannot control the flaws of the data. So whether it is not complete, itu selalu jadilah. When we take the secondary data, so we selalu dapat not complete cases. Okay. And then sometimes ada error, maybe error ejaan. Error ejaan nampak simple, but tapi bila bila dia sentuh pada nama kepada seseorang tu, it can be bagi satu masalah yang besar. Okay, sebab especially when kita nak tahu status kematian, kan, kalau nama tu tak tepat, kalau kita tak dapat maklumat IC, let's say, so we only get the name punya information, kan. So kalau nama tu tak tepat, tersalah ejaan, so we sangat-sangat susah untuk identify whether it is betul ataupun statusnya betul mati ataupun tidak untuk seseorang tu. Okay, and then bukan setakat ejaan saja, maybe dia akan boleh jadi duplicate cases. Okay, so certain data dia akan jadi duplicate cases. So kita dah tengok orang ni dah meninggal pada tahun ni, tiba-tiba tahun depan tu meninggal lagi. So that's the risiko of secondary data lah. Okay, so secondary data tu memerlukan kerja-kerja pembersihan, or we can call it as a cleaning process. Okay, ataupun kita boleh panggil data quality. Data quality, untuk data quality yang kena thoroughly lah untuk menjamin mutu ataupun quality of the data. Okay. So and then it may require careful evaluation, like I mentioned, to ensure its quality and relevance to the research question at hand. Alright. So this is how the primary and secondary is differ. So first hand versus second hand, and then the data for the primary is real-time data, and then the secondary is past data, and then the process too very involved, which is take a longer process to capture all the data that we need. But the secondary data lagi quick and easy to get. Okay, the source from yang kita selalu guna adalah untuk primary data like surveys, observation, experiments, and then macam kita get the data tu by questionnaire ataupun personal interview. Okay, but for the secondary data, so we can get that from publication or maybe from the database, okay, from the internal records or articles. Dari segi cost, of course, the primary is more expensive than secondary. And then for the time consuming, primary is more time consuming. And then, but for the advantages, primary is specific to the researcher's needs, but the secondary may have a flaws on the data that maybe tak dapat menjawab some research needs. Okay. Okay, for the availability, the crude form and then the secondary is for the from the refined form. Okay, dari segi accuracy pula, primary data have more accuracy than secondary data. So next is types of data. Types of data we can divide by two categories, qualitative and quantitative. So the qualitative is more to quality. So this just for describe the characteristics, and then for the quantitative is a measurement, more to measurement. Okay, so kenapa kena tahu types of data ni? Why bother to know types of data? Because sebab kita nak correctly apply statistical procedure or statistical measurement based on the data type. Okay, so therefore kita dapat conclude to certain assumption about it. Okay. So the qualitative data, so description, more to describe. So macam example ni pasal berkenaan gambar ya. So kalau kuantitatif lebih kepada benda yang kita boleh measure. Okay. So antara all painting ni for kualitatif kita boleh describe dia punya warna, karakteristik dia, oil, and then gambar ni cantik ke tak. Okay. And but for the quantitative, yeah, okay. Quantitative berat frame ni berapa? It's a measurement, okay? Quantity and quality, okay? Tapi dengan kata lain, but in research, the qualitative is known as categorical data actually, okay? Categorical that divide by nominal and ordinal, and quantitative is divided by continuous and discrete. For the nominal is a category that has unordered categories. Is macam selalunya fixed group. Categorical data yang ada fixed group. Macam male, female, Malay, Chinese, Indian, and type of car. Okay. Ordinal, something that the category that in order. Okay, they have a level in there. So macam stress level, macam income level, and then socio-economic status. For the quantitative, so we have continuous and discrete. Continuous is a numerical data that can take any value within a range, which means that it can sometimes call a measurement continuous. And then discrete, numerical data that can only take certain values, count. Dengan kata lain, continuous, dia ada perpuluhan, discrete tak ada perpuluhan. Okay, discrete count macam tu. Okay, bilangan katil di hospital. Okay, number of fall. Okay, so and then continuous, exam score, height, weight, something that we are measuring, okay? So the nominal is the as I mentioned earlier, is unordered ya, macam ethnic group semua tu lah. Okay, so it is mutually exclusive, meaning that Kalau mutually exclusive meaning that bila seseorang tu dah ada dalam grup tu, dia tak boleh ada dalam grup tu. Contohnya kalau si Polan ni dah ada dalam grup male, dia tak boleh jadi female. Okay? Dia tak boleh sepatutnya. Alright. And then kalau ordinal pula dia order lah, dia kena ada turutan. Right. Then quantitative. So saya rasa semua faham ya. Continuous semua boleh beza. The continuous, what is discrete. Okay. So dari segi data, this is how it looks like in the data set. Okay, how it's like in data set. So from data set, we must put in a nice way like this lah, supaya for the data enter tu, orang yang enter data tu have a synchronized pattern of data entry. Tak boleh lah kalau orang yang apa, CA ni dia enter female as F and male as M, but the other person put the data as 1, 2. So when you want to match the data, dia jadi not synchronized. Okay. So that's the data looks like in the database lah. Alright. So this is the numerical data and this is the categorical data. Okay. Okay. So next I move to statistical analysis, which have two parts of statistical analysis. Descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Okay, descriptive statistics is always to describe. Okay, to describe and summarize the data. So dia macam bagi satu gambaran awal before any inferential statistic come out lah. So kita describe karakteristik of kita punya data. Okay. So kita kena describe dari bersesuaian dengan data type kita lah. Kalau data type numerical, you must describe by mean or median. Kalau data type as categorical, you must describe by frequency. Okay. So you cannot describe the categorical dalam mean. Okay. And then move to inferential statistic. Inferential statistic tu kita make inferences from the sample to the population. Okay. Because sebab kita guna sample, kita hanya guna sample, kita tak guna the entire population. That's why we must use inferential statistics to infer the population, untuk menggambarkan keadaan populasi yang kita tak mampu untuk capture semua. So we use the inferential statistic to represent the result as the whole population. So example of inferential statistic as a t-test, chi-square test, and ANOVA test. Okay. I believe that semua orang pernah dengar kan t-test, at least t-test. Chi-square. Okay, alright. So how to describe numerical data? So we can describe by the type of data. That's why I mentioned earlier it is very crucial and very important to know the data type. So the central tendency, we use central tendency to represent the overall numerical variable. Okay. Contohnya saya ada data age for this age for this participants of this workshop. So saya ada data age. So bila saya nak present the age of these participants, adakah saya present satu-satu semua orang ataupun secara overall? When I have 100 samples, 100 participants, 100 orang yang datang adalah berumur, semua saya mention ke age? Takkan. So saya mention dari segi secara keseluruhan. So bila secara keseluruhan, we must use central tendency, which is untuk mewakili kita punya data tu. Okay, maksudnya overall punya figure lah. Okay, so then we display the dispersion by standard deviation and interquartile range. Okay, then the figure or chart, we display it as histogram and box plot. Okay, so we have mean and we have median. So how we going to choose whether mean or median? Okay, so to describe kita punya data, so kita kena bergantung kepada distribution of the data, whether it is normally distributed or not. So it is menentukan untuk report mean or median. Okay, if data is normal, we must report the mean, but if the data is not normal, we report the median and interquartile range. The standard deviation and IQR interquartile range here is the dispersion, the measure data dispersion. How data is vary from the mean, okay? Kalau mean tu besar, standard deviation dia besar, maksudnya data is very dispersed, okay? Very macam jauh sangat lah. Alright. So this is normal punya looks like, normal distribution looks like. So we can measure it by histogram. Okay. So the normal dia macam bentuk bell shape ya. Kalau tak normal dia ada skewed, whether skewed to the right or skewed to the left. Okay, this is contoh untuk report numerical data. So we have median, IQR, and some more we have mean ST. So we can report both and combine it as one table. Okay. Next for the categorical variables. So macam mana nak describe categorical variable? So senang je by frequency. Dari segi graphical way, we can show it as a bar or pie graph. So it is how we are reporting the categorical variables. So this is from the I think the cancer punya registry. So we have a bar chart between years, and then the sources is from Department of Statistics of Malaysia. So this is a contoh of a female breast stage by station by reporting as a pie chart. So this is example of the table that combine both numerical and categorical. So we have this is numerical and this is in percent is categorical. So no need to separate. Sometimes we can combine the information in one table. So as a summary, the data, if numerical, can report by mean and median, and categorical by frequency and table. So next, the inferential statistic. So previously mentioned, we want to infer the what sample is what information from sample to the population. Okay. So there's a lot of statistical tests actually out there. It is just a basic inferential statistical test. So it is basically depends on the type of data. If numerical and then we want to compare between two groups, it calls independent t-test or Mann-Whitney test. And then if you want to compare for three groups, maybe to compare BMI for Malay, Chinese, Indian. So we can use one way, ANOVA or Kruskal-Wallis test. And then some more here for the categorical. Kalau you nak measure association between two categorical variable, contohnya penyakit hypertension dan no hypertension, and we want to associate that with the punya socio-demographic profile, we can use chi-square test. Okay, so this is very basic inferential statistical test. Tapi dekat luar sana ada banyak lagi, regression, multiple linear regression, multiple logistic regression, and some more. Okay. So this is how the example, like I mentioned earlier. So we have categorical and numerical. So as a wrap, tapi kita ada statistical software available to run all the statistical analysis. So we have Excel also have, and then SPSS, and then R, the MATLAB, Minitab, and some more. So the free software R, Excel is tak adalah free, tapi dia kita available kan for us. Still ada function untuk statistical analysis. So kita dapatkan data, we run the analysis with the available software and get the result. So as a conclusion, so we must know kita punya data first, and then we do the right analysis, and then we have the right decisions. So this is for you all. So anybody can do, right? Okay. Thank you so much from me.
Thank you for Evi Diana and for your presentation. If anyone have any question, can you raise your hand and we pass the microphone to you? That is all right.
Tak ada.
For our next session, I would like to invite
Assalamualaikum, selamat petang. Nama aku Renan. Saya tadi bincang dengan Dr. Yo. Esok saya beritahu juga. So untuk mengelakkan kebosanan pada hari ini esok, saya combine pada hari esok. So you all boleh gembira So boleh belanja saya kan. Esok pukul 8 sharp. Ada orang tak ada orang saya beritahu. 8 hingga 8.45 saya menyertak. Boleh? Saya faham apa buku di hati tu. Okey. Saya bagi MC yang betul-betul. Esok okey. Pastikan datang, tak datang saya balik. Bukan balik mana pun tak sini minit nangis. Okey, thank you. Saya macam
Okay, thank you, Naliza. I would like to call upon Dr. Shah Jahan to present the speaker with a certificate of appreciation for her talk. Thank you, Dr. Shadihan. We have come to end of our day 2 program. We thank you for your effort and attention. We will meet again tomorrow at 7:45 a.m. Registration will begin at 7:30 a.m. Thank you.